has voiced his disappointment in LeBron James several times already this season. And look, he said he's met LeBron, though the two men have never spoken about activism or Kareem's criticism. But here is Kareem on why he's been critical of LeBron James. Listen to this.
Well, it just comes from, some of the things that he's done and said are really beneath him, as far as I can see, for some of the great things that he's done. He's standing on both sides of the fence almost. It makes it hard for me to, accept that when he's committed himself to a different take on everything. It's hard to it's hard to figure out where he's standing. You got to check him out every time.
So I got to say, guys, to me, Kareem always sounds to me like the adult in the room, but that doesn't mean the adult has the kind of style that you want, right? Sometimes he is, but he is consistently applying rigor to standards, right? He has rigorous standards, and he expects LeBron James to live up to a standard, I think, that Kareem has in mind. And guys, to me, by and large, LeBron has. I think that's why Kareem, even in the criticism, says, hey, he's done all these good things. I think this other thing is beneath him. Jay, what specifically do you think he's referring to? What's beneath him?
I mean, it had to be about what LeBron was talking about as relates to COVID. He had put out a tweet a while ago about, just the confusion that he's witnessing with his daughter who's in first grade with COVID, with flu, with colds, a lot of finger pointing at a lot of different things. And for me, I probably think when I hear Kareem talk about he's standing on both sides, I feel like it has to do with something like COVID related, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, man, I'm not in the business of going against Cap. He's a legend of this game. I get it. But I'm not LeBron James. I don't live my life worried about what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar thinks about me. I don't. And like LeBron James, like he handled it correctly by not responding. Like he's entitled to his opinion. Everybody doesn't need to agree with it. And so what? What LeBron James has done for the community is off the charts. Look it up. So is everybody shooting 100% from the field? No. Are there going to be some misses sometimes? Yeah, but like when I hear these things, I'm like, come on, Cap. Like just let it be. I don't get it, Key.
Yeah, I personally wish that Kareem would have been a little more clear as to what exactly LeBron is not saying and laying low on and playing both sides on. I just wish he was a little more clear so I can be clear as to how I want to approach it. Clearly, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is smarter than me tenfold, and I have no problem admitting that. He is somebody that I've always looked up to, somebody that I would always inspire to be, just based on his knowledge of the world and his thoughtful process and all that he's been able to do since he's been on this earth, both on and off the court. But I think sometimes it gets lost because we look at Kareem as this get off my line guy because he's older. Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, those guys have a different thought process than today's generation or even our generation, Jay, because it's just who they are. So I just wish Kareem was a little clearer as to what he was actually speaking about so I can be clear about the way that I would like to respond to that.
But Max, here's something that's very telling to me. When Kareem was asked if he's spoken to LeBron, they never spoken. So like LeBron James can reach out to anybody he wants. Like LeBron's DM'd. I've had conversations with him about certain, like if LeBron wanted to connect with Kareem, he would connect with Kareem. So what does that tell you?
Well, I mean, Kareem.
You know what I mean, Kate?
Kareem could be prickly. Obviously, I can think of two things, but key is you're right. It's pure conjecture because Kareem did not specify the issue.
I don't know really what the issue is.
Right, I can think of two issues off the top of my head. One is COVID. Okay, if you look at the data, and people aren't for sure, but it could be up to 10 times deadlier than the flu. So maybe Kareem feels like he's trivializing COVID in some way. LeBron is. But I don't know that LeBron did that. He
was just relating it to his daughter.
Yeah. And then the second thing could be like the whole thing with China, right? Where LeBron has enormous business in China. And when that happened, I said, hey, LeBron is selling out. Now, if selling out for $1 billion, my price is probably a lot lower than that, right? Like I'd probably sell out for a lot less than $1 billion. But it is selling out. And maybe Kareem, his principles say, no, you don't do it for any amount of money. But okay.
But I don't know, Max, I don't know if it's the COVID Spider-Man situation that LeBron tweeted out. I don't know if it's his antics on the court because, again, Kareem wasn't specific as to what it was, so it would not be in my best interest to try and speculate exactly what the cap was saying until the cap actually says it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I would say no one's perfect. And I just pointed out two ways that LeBron hasn't been perfect, maybe. But LeBron, by and large, given the amount of scrutiny since he was in high school, has led an exemplary life, right, publicly. But Kareem is the adult in the room, and maybe he has more rigorous standards than I do. In fact, I would say that is probably the case, and more rigorous standards than most. He does come off like the authority, the kind of moral authority in these situations, even if he is prickly at times.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.